thing I know about you is that you have ambition to be great. My job is to coach you to get all that greatness out of you.
What is good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason, and we are back here for another one. It is officially a Tuesday matinee. What a crazy day. A lot of movement. Obviously, the Russell Wilson trade, huge. Rodgers staying, a bunch of franchise tags. It's kind of nuts when you see all the movement going down today. Hold on. It's just it's kind of crazy. I mean, also when you look at the package that they kind of gave up. I mean, Noah Fant is a stud, 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, a 5th, and then Shelby Harris and Drew Lock. So they did give up like a lot, I guess, in terms of like quantity-wise. But if you look at like talent-wise, you know, what did they really like other than Noah Fant? Shelby Harris is pretty good, but and that now you got a division with Derek Carr, Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, and Russell Wilson. Like, oh my Lord. And we're gonna go over everything today. We're gonna go over a lot of the receiver tags and receiver news because, like Michael just said, it does put in a lot of competition for Robinson and Cooper. We're gonna talk about that. There was also some obviously news that the deadline has fucking passed. The deadline has passed to franchise tag players. So there are a couple that did not get tagged. Right, and the ones that did not get tagged, Chandler Jones didn't get tagged, and then JC Jackson didn't get tagged. And if you're a Patreon, you know the JC Jackson story I posted earlier this week, and the stuff I was hearing was basically JC had priced himself out of New England, so JC Jackson will be leaving New England. That's kind of interesting because I'll be honest with you, man. If you're gonna re-up X, I would honestly think about signing JC Jackson and trading Byron Jones. X and JC Jackson as a combo would be ridiculously, especially if you are going to lose Emmanuel Ogbah. If Ogbah is walking out that door, you go get JC Jackson, you move off Byron Jones, and now you have 2 legitimate ball hawks who can also press. That's what I would do. You know, I'd throw you all for a loop. You tampering period come out, you'd be like, what the fuck? They just signed JC Jackson? You guys would be like, what the hell? And then boom, I would drop on your head. I would trade Byron Jones. You know, I would literally turn around and I would trade Byron Jones and just, Byron Jones has like what, a $16 million cap hit. If I got to pay JC 18, cool. I'd be like that is a huge JC Jackson is not just his own guy. They play a ton of man in New England. I don't know what you're talking about, Eric. They play a ton of man. JC Jackson strives. He's fantastic in man coverage. So, I don't know what you're talking about, Eric. Like, tell me you don't watch the Patriots without telling me you don't watch the Patriots. Like that would be the boss move. That would be and I know they are interested in JC Jackson if they cannot work something out with Xavier Howard. I know that I've been told that by someone I trust a ton. So, it's all just going to be a matter of, you know, when it's just going to be a matter of what happens, how X plays out, basically. That's literally what it's going to come down to. So, I mean, that's the power move, really, if you think about it. Like, if you really, really think about it, that is the power move. But we'll see how that all plays out. Personally, I just want X to retire a Dolphin. I wanted Rashad to also be one. But no. Yeah, exactly, Rome. Anybody who saw JC in college knows he's elite man to man. I don't know what Eric's talking about. Eric be smoking the good, bro. So, I like that's the power move. That is the actual real. That is the forward thinking, progressive thinking move. Is you sign JC Jackson, you turn around and you ship out Byron, and he's young. Like JC is like, here's the thing. JC's not even, he's 26. So that's the power move. You pair JC and X. You got the two. Listen, if you were to do that, you would have the two best ball hawks in the NFL over the last 3-4 years paired up together in a predominantly man coverage defense. That would be ridiculous. You know what you could produce? JC is elite, man. JC, you would have the two. What about Noah Igbenogany? You mean Noah inactivity, bro? Noah Igbenogany, man. I'm gonna tell you right now. And then after I did that, I would, let's make sure we re-up Needham. I don't need Tyrann Mathieu, man. I got Brandon Jones and Javon Holland on the cheap. Because here's the thing: if Ogba is gonna walk, right? If Ogba's gonna walk, you have to ask yourself, can I find if we sign a rookie, right? Sorry, even if we draft a rookie, we're at 29. So what? We're gonna hope like a guy like Karl Aftis falls to us, or go after Maffei, on day 2 or something like that. But you're not gonna get one of the Kevon Thibodeau. You're not gonna get one of the elite pass rushers at the top of the draft. So how can you make up for that? Well, tighten your man coverage even more with JC Jackson. That's a legit power play move. You get your coverage better. That's something I would definitely consider. So, just a little food for thought, really. JC's he's an absolute beast, man. I'm telling you right now. JC is an absolute freaking monster. And either way, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. And I'm going to show y'all exactly what I'm talking about. If you go back onto my Patreon, all right, I'm going to tell y'all, I'm going to give y'all, because it's only like a week old. Let's start off with JC Jackson, okay? Let's start off with JC Jackson. So, if you go to my Patreon, last Friday at 2:32, I posted and I said, I let Neil Driscoll and EM Dolphin fan know this privately before I posted it, so I had my receipt out there. I've been told Xavier Howard's current asking price is in the neighborhood of $20 million per year. So obviously, they would be renegotiating deal and all that would be guaranteed, but that's what I've been told. Here's where it gets interesting though. The Dolphins backup plan. I was told yesterday that not only is it JC Jackson, but they've actually used him as leverage in a way with negotiating with Xavier Howard. They were basically saying be flexible, come off that 20 million, or we're gonna go spend that type of money on, a guy who's 26 years old and one of the best in the NFL and JC Jackson. So, um, you know, and then I even said, I would still look at signing JC to pair with Howard and move Byron Jones. And so I was hearing the JC Jackson rumblings last Friday. That's what I was hearing last Friday. And I was also like, they let it be known to Xavier Howard that JC Jackson is an option. So, I mean, I don't know what else to really. I don't know what else to really say. I've been hearing I've been hearing his name since last Friday. So, um we'll see how it plays out. We'll see how it plays out. Um I personally, and this is now what Ben Volen is reporting off of it, just so you guys see what it is. So Ben Volen says been some buzz about Jackson going to Miami to reconnect with Josh Boyer and team up with Xavier Howard would be a pretty lethal 1-2 combo. Dude, I'm telling you, Byron Jones was was a Flores guy. Yep. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting how this plays out. It's going to be, because this is a better fit for us than what Byron Jones is, and Byron Jones is also a Flores guy. So Boyer gets rid of a Flores guy. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see how this plays out. But Ben Volen right there, a Patriots reporter, coming out here, and he's telling everyone that there is some buzz right now going on of Jackson going to Miami. So hold on a sec here. I'm just I don't know, man. It's just very interesting. It's very intriguing. Um, and JC obviously, I'm telling you, you would have hands down the best. It would be the most ridiculous combination. It would be the most ridiculous corner pairing in the NFL. It would be actually stupid. This is just very, very interesting. It's crazy. I'm telling you, man. Yeah, I heard this last Thursday, and then I put the report up on Friday on the Patreon. And now that I'm seeing it kind of coming together, it's kind of interesting to see now that, I know they were legitimately interested in him. And I think the thing is, Byron is a flow guy. That was a flow choice. Boyer gets Byron out. But the problem is, you don't want this information to get out there because this would lessen the value you get back for Byron Jones if you're going to move off of him. So, or you could keep all three this year. Big Black, you're right, 110%. That'd be very interesting. Who goes where? But it's kind of interesting. This offseason is going to be crazy. Like, we haven't even hit the tampering window, and this is going on right now. Like, it's ridiculous right now. It's unbelievable. It's just kind of Rome says F Amari Cooper and Allen Robinson, give me JC and trade Byron for a fourth and use that fourth for a running back. Or Matty Legs. The left leg of God, Matariza. Yo, all I know is this is going to be a wild offseason. We have not even hit tampering window, and look what's going on. Absolutely nuts. It's going to be very interesting to see how this all plays out. Going to be it's because honestly, Rome, are you really that far-fetched? JC Jackson is arguably the best free agent available now. I would say he's the best free agent available at any position. Now, that means he's going to get paid, and I don't know if they're going to pay him. But he is now the top free agent available. I still don't know if I see this happening. You would have to move Byron's money. I don't see them. You got to give X new money, and X is making like what, 15, 16. He's making like what, 15 or 16? It's 15 or 16 this year. He wants around 20, so you'd have to bump him up at least to like 18-ish. And then you'd have to pay JC Jackson 18 to 20. So let's put him at 19. Okay, so that's 37 million right there. All right. And then, you add in Byron Jones making 16. We're at 53 million between the two of them. So 53 million, there's no way they're going to keep them all for even one season. That's literally, the cap just came out at 208. That's literally like a quarter of your cap on three guys at the corner position. You'd have to move money. There just wouldn't be an option. So shout out to the Patreons, because I know the Patreons be seeing this, and I mean, we haven't even entered the legal tampering window. And this offseason's already nuts. It's just crazy. It's just crazy to me. Like, it's just nuts. So we'll see how it all plays out. I heard the JC Jackson thing last week. I don't know how it's going to be hard to pull off. You're going to need some mastery. I would want more than a fourth for Byron Jones. He's locked down for a couple more seasons. I would want at least a third for Byron Jones. Shag, what you do is you just pay JC and X the same thing. But it's going to be real hard to pull this off. I've heard about it since last week. This coming out right now. I'm not going to sit here and put a high percentage on how realistic this could be. Let me just say that. Right? I think it's a better chance that we walk away with Ryan Jensen and Terron Armstead than JC and one of the top receivers than JC Jackson altogether. If you want my honest opinion, I still think it's something you got to explore. And the illegal tampering window is open. Yeah, that's it. So I really just still don't know how realistic, even though I reported it. I just tell you guys what I hear and what I'm told by reliable people. And even though I heard it last week and I reported it this week and this is coming out right now, doesn't mean I think it's going to happen. I think it's still, anything is possible, but I would put the percentage of it happening under 50%. Let's be honest here for a sec. All right. I still think it can happen, but I do still think the percentage is clearly under 50% chance that this happens. So would love it. Would absolutely love it. I know if X, I'll tell you this much. Mark my words. If X and the Dolphins fall apart on the money and he wants to be moved, JC Jackson will be pursued by the Miami Dolphins. Okay? I'll tell you that much right now. Now, if X gets his new money worked out, that's where I don't know if I put a high percentage on them going after JC Jackson and then moving Byron's money. That's a lot of finagling. To be honest, you'd have to move Byron Jones's money before free agency because his value would be higher. Then you'd have to roll the dice that you're going to be the top bidder for JC Jackson. You're going to have to go balls deep on JC Jackson day one before even entertaining Ryan Jensen, Terron Armstead, and whomever. So, interesting. Like I said, I heard this last Thursday from someone. I reported this Friday on my Patreon in a little bit more in depth than what Ben Volan's saying. Like I said, they were using JC Jackson's actually being used in leverage in negotiations as leverage right now. Also, because X is asking for his money to be bumped up to about $20 million this year. Right? He wants that new money. And they basically said, listen, if we're going to pay you that, we can go get a guy who's 26. We can pay him $20 million. And that's how he's being leveraged. But I do know they really like JC on top of that. And in that same report, I speculated the power move would be give X his money, sign JC Jackson, move Byron's money. But we'll see how it all works out. I still don't put, I don't know if it's how likely it is right now, but I will say if X and the Dolphins fall apart, it is very, very likely. Very likely. All right, let's keep it rolling. Big news to start off the show, obviously. But let's get into some news that was taken care of, and I want to talk about this. Obviously, the news 9:30 in the morning. I was like, I am not about to go live at 9:30. I put my kid down too, and I said, hey, but I am not about to get up I love all y'all, but I'm not about to go live at 9:30 in the morning when all y'all are settling in at work or whatever the case may be, just waking up. The Dolphins placed the franchise tag on Mike Gesicki, so he will make just under $11 million, about $10.9 million. We talked about it last night. Franchise tag is officially on Mike Gesicki, but here is where I am at. Just because they have placed it does not mean he has signed it. He is currently on his honeymoon, as we all know. I would not be shocked. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I would not be shocked if Mike Gesicki files a grievance. And what I mean by that is he's going to file a grievance to appeal it to be actually labeled as a wide receiver. Now, I hear Dolphin fans keep bringing up Jimmy Graham. Okay, well, two things here with Jimmy Graham. Number one, Jimmy Graham spent, out of his overall snaps, 67% of the time in the slot or out wide. Mike Gesicki spent 85% of the time in the slot or out wide. Almost 20% more than Jimmy Graham. About 18% to be exact. All right? So I get that everyone automatically assumes, well, he hasn't signed it. Remember, just because they placed it on you, you still have to sign it. Okay? And another thing I wanted to hit y'all with too. And I really want y'all to sit back and think about this one for a sec. All right? Now, sticking with his whole snap issue thing. And I'm going to show you something too here, but Cooper Kupp had a higher percentage of snaps in tight alignment at 22.4% than Mike Gesicki did. Cooper Kupp had a higher inline percentage than Mike Gesicki. And last I checked, he's a wide receiver, no? And George, yes, the tag can be rescinded because it changes. All of a sudden, you go up to about 18 point some odd million. There's a difference of over 7 million, so you can rescind the tag. So Cooper Kupp had more snaps in tight alignment than Mike Gesicki. And on top of that, the Jimmy Graham comparison, he had 85% overall snaps out wide or in the slot compared to 67% of Jimmy Graham. So even that argument is null and void. And let's go even further. In passing situations, Mike Gesicki was in line only 7.4% of the time in passing situations. Now, hey, he might say, give me the 11 million. The reason why I think he might file the grievance is this. They will rescind the tag. He will get out. And I know there will be a team that will pay him at least $13 million a year. And that's a difference of $2 million a year. And if you want to sign a 3 or 4 year deal, that's a difference between $6 to $8 million. And how much does that change the guaranteed money for your contract long term? So that's why I think he will file the grievance, not just because he wants to be labeled as a big slot receiver, but also because on the tight end market alone, he could earn more than what the franchise tag is paying him probably. So I would not be surprised. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I would not be shocked if he goes back. Now, if they were to tag him next year, they can tag him for about $13 million next year. So in essence, they can turn this into a 2-year, $24 million contract. Griffin says, couldn't we keep Ogba and still sign JC Jackson just by moving Byron Jones and some of other players we don't need? Okay, good question. So look at this way. Byron makes about $16 million. Okay. You move Byron. All right. That's going to free up about $16 million. Okay. So tack on about $4 extra million for JC Jackson. That's how those now you can free up nearly $20 million by releasing Jesse Davis, Alan Hearns, Clayton Fedulum, Adam Butler, and Eric Rowe. So right there, you would probably even yourself out because you free up that $20 million, you give $15 million to Ogba. Let's go on the high end. That leaves you with $5 million. Then you trade Byron, frees up to $16 million. Now we're at $21 million. Then you give $20 million a year to JC Jackson. You're left over with $1 million. There you go. I just did the math for you real quick in my head. So yes, Griffin Gaming, it is actually feasible what you say. 110%. Just upon those bodies moving and Byron Jones's contract could equate to JC Jackson and Emmanuel Ogba plus $1 million. I'm decent at math. My wife's the accountant, but for some reason she's the accountant. But then whenever we go somewhere and we got to figure out numbers, she asks me to figure out the numbers in my head. You go figure that one out. So now the reason why I'm sticking with this too is Jeremy Fowler of ESPN, who I think we can all agree is very good. No, don't get Honey Badger. We got Jones and Holland. I'm not going to go pay Tyrann Mathieu. Rowe's going to get cut anyways because of Brandon Jones. All right. Several people league-wide believe Mike Gesicki could file grievance over franchise tag position. Tight end at $10.9 million. Wide receiver at $18.4 million. These are tough sells, but consider these numbers. Gesicki pass blocked 3.7% of QB dropbacks. Fourth lowest amongst tight ends. 266 run blocks, tied for 28th. Receivers block more than this freaking guy. Receivers block more than this guy. Scotty, you restructure Jones before you move him. We have to restructure him anyways. We can free up like $9 million by restructuring him. So when you restructure him, all that money turns into guaranteed money, and you can move him. All you got to do is restructure him. So you know, you look at all this, Gesicki, he's got a case. What my whole thing is, I'm not saying he's going to, but to sit there and say Mike Gesicki does not have a case to file a grievance is ignorant. Michael says, so the irony is Gesicki can get more money because he can't block. Damn. Vaughn, and my wife does my taxes. By the way, all the people out there talking crap on Reason not making money off YouTube. Yeah, tell that to the tax man. Tell that to the tax man. Oh, I got to pay taxes. I got to pay more than a couple grand on freaking taxes this year, okay? Yeah, you tell the tax man I ain't making money off YouTube. He'll tell you something different. So yeah. I really think he's gonna file a grievance. I really think he's going to file a grievance. And I think he's going to file a grievance not even just so he can be tagged as a receiver, because he knows if he hits the free agent market, he can make more than $11 million per year, and he can get a 3 or 4 year contract with some clarity, stability, and guaranteed money. Indeed, I use our relative athletic scores. If you have been watching me since last year, I would, during the combine pro days last year, I was throwing the relative athletic scores up there for everyone. Hey, Reason, is your draft rankings based on Dolphins scheme fit or overall ranking? Both. Scheme fit matters in my rankings. Good question. Scheme fit, I do take how they fit in with the Dolphins offense or defense into consideration. So, for example, like if you see a guy on my top 10 list for my running backs and he's a gap runner, but he's like made the top 5, that tells you how highly I think about him. A guy who is more of a zone runner is automatically going to be an advantage in an advantageous position when I rank him like that. So good question, John. Yes, I do. It's a blend. It's a blend, but scheme does play a big role, especially when we get into defense, right? Especially when I get into defensive rankings. Especially. A perfect example, go back and watch my edge rankings from last year. A lot of scheme played a part in those decisions. So yeah, I mean, if you want to be honest here, this is I don't think it's just as cut and dry. And the man's on his honeymoon. We'll see how he reacts when he comes back. We'll see how this all plays out when Mike Gesicki returns from his honeymoon. Now, big story I wanted to talk about. If you are a Patreon, you know two names I've been consistently hearing are Terron Armstead and James Daniels. I've heard Laken Tomlinson too, but I've been told if Laken Tomlinson and James Daniels are both free, James Daniels is actually rated higher by Greer. Here's the thing. Mike Girardi, who works for the NFL Network, so this isn't just some jabroni from an outlet coming out here. He started off, let's click on the first one. He said Terron Armstead will be in demand when free agency kicks off. Buzz around Indy was a couple teams in Florida. The Jags and the Dolphins want a seat at Armstead's table. Here's the thing. Guess what happened today? The Jacksonville Jaguars, they tagged Cam Robinson for the second year in a row. So Cam Robinson is basically you're not going to sign Terron Armstead for 18 to 20 million and then kick him inside or kick Cam inside. So take them out of the running. And these are someone I've been hearing for quite some time now. So there you go. More confirmation that we will be making a run at Terron Armstead. You know, I love it. Love every freaking minute of it. He was number 2 on my free agent target and number 1 on my boom, where'd I go, huh? Number 1 on my free agent target list was this man, Ryan Jensen. He says, same folks expect the Dolphins to be players for center Ryan Jensen. Not only is he damn good, but he brings an edge the Finns sorely need up front. Let's go, baby. Let's go. I've been all year long. He's been my Corey Linsley 2.0. All year long, I've been saying, this is the guy. This is the move. He can go inside, outside zone. Don't freaking matter. Get this guy. And here we go. And that last part, the edge we need, that smash mouth, win in the trenches. Make guys feel pain having to line up across from you. Let's go. Let's go. And this plays off the report yesterday that Cam Wolf said. What did he say? That they want at least 2 potential starters. Kick Dieter back to guard. Dieter at left guard. I've been saying this the whole time. Dieter at left guard. Jensen at center. Hunt at right guard. Armstead at left tackle. And either go get Trent Brown or sign or draft my boy Abe Lucas, because we're not going to be able to move up for Charles Cross or Evan Neal. Draft my boy Abe Lucas, or if you want to take Daniel Falele because you think you can turn him into something, go put him at right tackle, and let's go, baby. Let's go. I'm telling you, Dieter is our best option at left guard in that room right now. I'm telling you right now. And even still, if James Daniels is out there, I would not be surprised if they try to come out with Jensen, James Daniels, and Terron Armstead and then go sign a receiver. So let's go, man. Let's fix this offensive line. Because you fix this offensive line, Salvon Ahmed makes sense staying. Myles Gaskin makes sense staying. And then you add a Raheem Mostert and you draft a guy. And boom, all of a sudden that running back room, we are good to go. Yeah, Michael Falele, he really, his stock dropped for me starting with the Senior Bowl big time. Like, let's go. And James Daniel can play right guard, center, left guard. So just put James Daniels at left guard, Jensen at center, Terron Armstead at left tackle, Robert Hunt at right guard, and figure the right tackle position out, and we're good. And we are good. We are so good. So there you go. The same folks that expect us to go after Terron Armstead expect us to be players for Ryan Jensen. Even still, even still, another guy too, Brian Allen. No, Ahmed did not get cut today, my friend. That is that is not what happened was, and I'll tell you guys right now, we'll get into it. But fix that offensive line. Go fix that offensive line. Because when you fix that offensive line, everyone's going to get better. The ripple effect is going to be massive. From Tua to the running game, the receivers are going to eat because Tua is going to be better. It's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. So Armstead, Jensen, the two top free agent targets on my list are clearly in the crosshairs for free agency for the Miami Dolphins. Let's go. If they sign my top two targets, that would be such a huge dub for me. Let's go. And they sign Allen. Let's go. Let's go. We'll talk about another potential huge dub. But speaking of, I have to speaking of, just quickly here, Salvon Ahmed, he was tendered today, right? And so was Elijah Campbell. Salvon Ahmed, the reason why he was tendered, remember, where did we get him from? San Francisco. They did not want to lose San Francisco. San Francisco did not want to lose Ahmed when we snatched him up off waivers. So now they've tendered Salvon Ahmed. He will be a part of that running back room. Telling you right now. Elijah Campbell, obviously, we know we got him off the wire and he was great value for what he was as a prospect. So they bring him back as well, which is good to see. But Salvon Ahmed and Elijah Campbell have been tendered with as exclusive rights free agents. So Salvon Ahmed's going to have a role. I'm telling you right now. Salvon Ahmed is going to have a role. This offense fits him so well. This outside zone fits him perfectly. Salvon Ahmed will have a role in this offense, and I know Mike McDaniel is a fan. All right, continuing on here. And there was in case you didn't know, in case you were under a rock today, Russell Wilson is now a Denver Bronco. Seattle gets Drew Lock, Noah Fant, Shelby Harris, 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and a 5th-round pick. And Denver gets Russell Wilson and a 4th-round pick. So the QB movement happens. Absolutely huge move, that AFC West right now with Wilson, Carr, Herbert, and Mahomes. It is a crazy division. I think this catapults Denver. This is all they were missing. All they were missing was a quarterback. I think they are a legit contender now. They are a legit contender. So at least over in our division, we got guys like the elite players are leaving, like JC Jackson, not more elite players, getting influxed into our division. So absolutely huge trade, but reason, that's Seattle and Denver. Why does it matter? Well, it matters for this. As you guys all know, there is a certain wide receiver on the Seattle Seahawks that I think is one of the more underrated guys in the league. Yes, he's 30-ish, I believe, but According to Evan Massey, following the Seahawks trading Wilson to the Broncos, they're also open to business on wide receiver Tyler Lockett. With plenty of teams needing wide receiver help, he's a name to keep close eye on. Listen, right now his contract has a lot of money in it, but you can restructure. You could lop years off, move money up, and restructure. Tyler Lockett, to me, I mean, this is a special teams. Who's our returner right now? Who is our returner? This 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 is a guy who can offer us so much. He offers us a ton. So personally, I would be looking into Lockett because he's not going to get traded for a first. So if you could trade for him and restructure him, I mean, if you could trade for him and restructure him, I would be down. Tyler Lockett would be a stud for at least another couple years. So Tyler Lockett is now available on the market. Interesting. A guy who you guys all know I'm real high on. Real high on Tyler Lockett. I think he's one of the most slept on guys in the NFL. And then obviously he was not tagged, and it was known earlier today. Diana Rossini put it out there. Allen Robinson, he did not get tagged, and they're letting him hit free agency. So, this is a guy, like it says here, he had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons in 2019 and 2020. Everyone knows how I feel about Allen Robinson. I think he's, the perfect X receiver for this offense. I just think he's a better version of Davante Parker. He's what Davante Parker wishes he could be. And this was really his only down year, and we all know how bad the quarterback play was. But I mean, he's coming off of seasons. In 2020, he had 1,305 yards, 6 touchdowns. Year before that, 1,147 yards, 7 touchdowns. And maybe his bad season, him and Cooper are going to be owning the market, but you can't see them breaking bank stupid here. So with Allen Robinson, now in free agency officially, going to be hitting free agency, number 7 on my target list. You think about Allen Robinson, Jalen Waddle, and Lynn Bowden Jr. So I personally think, and I get it also, right now, Allen Robinson is 28. He's going to be 29 like midway through the season, I believe, or at the beginning of the season. So, you sign him for a 3-year deal. So, hey, I'm still down if we can get one of the guys in the draft. I'm still down for drafting guy, but free agency, if they're looking at it, Allen Robinson has got to be a real option. Another, and then receivers started coming off the board today. The Chargers and Mike Williams ended up reaching an agreement on a 3-year, $60 million deal that includes $40 million guaranteed, and $28 million of that is guaranteed in year 1, using a lot of their cap in year 1 because they have a ton of cap space right now. So I'm just, there is what the market for Williams is. They had to, $20 million per year basically. So you got to think Robinson's probably going to be between 15 to 17 million. I think Amari, Amari is another option too. I'd be down for Amari Cooper or Allen Robinson, to be completely honest with you. But There you go. Mike Williams got taken care of. This man got the absolute bag. And I see everyone, hating on him overpaying and stuff like that. That's the market, guys. I don't know what else to say. That's the market. You're talking about a guy, right? He's coming off an 1100, he almost had 1150 yards and he had 9 touchdowns this past year on 76 receptions. The guy averaged 15.1 yards per reception, right? 2,000 plus yard receiving seasons in the last 2 years. So remember, this is a guy in 2019. He had 1,000 yards on 49 receptions. Last year, he only had 48. In 2020, he only had 48 receptions. So this is a guy who got his first ever big workload of 122 targets and 76 receptions. And look at the numbers he put up. So they're investing in down the line. Remember, the guy, he's 27, right? So he'll be 28, during the season this year. So they only locked him down till 31, and they basically front loaded it to pay him for the years where he'll probably be in his prime, right? So it's actually a smart contract. So for the Chargers, in terms of pay him for the front years when he's most productive. So there you go. Mike Williams is officially off the market. If you didn't know, if you didn't see earlier today, another name that came off the market today too was the Buccaneers officially tagged Chris Godwin. They were unable to work out a long-term deal, but they'll keep trying. And that's the second year in a row. So his tag is like over 20 million. Yeah, Christian Watson is amazing. I just don't trust Greer to draft out of a school like North Dakota State. But Chris Godwin is now off the market. So again, Cooper and Robinson, their value is just going up and up and up right now. So Chris Godwin off. I did see today, it was reported that the Bucs are allowing a certain amount of players that some of you guys might be interested in to hit the open market. Some of the names that I saw were Carlton Davis, the corner, Leonard Fournette. They are allowing Leonard Fournette to hit the open market. Ronald Jones, the running back, will hit the open market as well. Rob Gronkowski, safety Jordan Whitehead, and they are allowing OJ Howard to hit free agency as well. So those are the names they're allowing to go into free agency. So Fournette and Ronald Jones are very interesting for us Dolphin fans. So Florida born, the team that I'm really hearing about Watson right now is Washington. Remember back in the day I said they're the team that needs to really chase him. I'm hearing that that's they're in on, if everything clears up, they are in on. And because I don't know if you guys heard, but the Washington Commanders, they offered high draft picks in 2022, 2023, and 2024. But the problem was Seattle wanted to move Wilson to the NFC. So the Commanders were offering a plethora of picks for Wilson, but he wanted to go to the NFC. So watch out. If Watson gets cleared up, watch the Commanders come in for Wilson. For Watson. I hate calling them the Commanders. It's such a bad name. They could have gone with so many better names. So Godwin is off the market. Now, continuing on. Obviously, and this is going to segue into something. That's why I'm going to show you. Aaron Rodgers. He has officially agreed to terms on a new 4-year deal. Now, it is not the 4-year, $200 million deal that was first reported. Both Pat McAfee and Aaron Rodgers have shot that report down. But Aaron Rodgers, he does have a new 4-year deal with the Packers, so he is staying in Green Bay. Why does that matter? Well, first of all, Jordan Love, that sucks. Second of all, Davante Adams. Well, guess what happened? The Packers have officially franchise tagged Davante Adams. So he is now off the market. Yet another wide receiver. So 3 big names, Godwin, Williams, and Davante Adams, are all off the board after today, meaning Robinson and Amari Cooper and guys like Juju Smith-Schuster dominate this market now. So it went from pretty big pickings to slim pickings. If they are going to spend money on a big name receiver, they're going to be in a bidding war. That's why you want more names out there, is to avoid big bidding wars. And this is what happened. You already know you're going to be in a bidding war with Terron Armstead. With Amari Cooper and Allen Robinson, there will be a bidding war. And you know the Patriots are going to be in on one of those teams, because the word out of New England is they want to move off of Nelson Algor, and they want to move that money to a new receiving option. Guys, 493 of you in the room. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you are new. Just a crazy amount of news went on today. Obviously, Terron Armstead, Ryan Jensen, the Dolphins reportedly lining up to be players in those markets is huge. Gesicki being tagged. Looks like Ogba's going to walk. The Dolphins are interested into an extent with J.C. Jackson, especially as a backup plan if Xavier Howard cannot get new money worked out with the team. So it's just we are still 6 days away from the tampering window opening, and already the offseason has been this nuts. So just craziness. We have now hit 500 people in the room. Smash that like button, please. Help me with my friend algorithm. Yeah, guys, man, it's just it's been a crazy day. I do hope that we go ahead and we get this offensive line shored up. I really do. And I'm down with a big name receiver, but this receiver, the receiver class in this draft is so damn deep that I would be okay if they signed a upper mid-tier guy. You know what I mean? Like someone who's not on the top tier, but on the tier under that, but on the cusp of becoming to the top tier. I'd be fine with them adding that to the room. But personally, because of the money, I just don't want them. I would rather them overpay on an offensive lineman that we know we're getting than overpay on a receiver. That's just my personal opinion. Like, just spend the money on the offensive line, fix the trenches. Games are won and lost in the trenches, so fix them. Make sure they're short up. Make sure they're ready to go. That's where I'm at with it. So, yeah, I want Treylon Burks, but I don't think he's going to be there at 29. I hope he is, but I don't think he's going to be there. Would love it, but like I said, trenches. Get that corrected, and everything will fall in line after that. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at. That's I know everyone's got their own different opinions on it, but hey, it is what it is. All right, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I appreciate each and every one of you spending some of your time with me. I'm gonna be back most likely Thursday. If something breaks tomorrow, then I'll be back and we'll talk about it. We'll let it We'll let it simmer. But appreciate each and every one of you. And I'll also be dropping my wide receiver big board this week. So be out on the lookout for that. I'm either going to be dropping that on Friday or I'm going to be dropping it on Sunday again. All right. So be out on the lookout for me to drop my big board. You already know what time it is. I appreciate each and every one of you. And guys, stay happy, healthy, safe, and blessed. And as always, fins up all day, every day, baby.